In the executive session. So,
It's all you want me to see if Dawn can come in, or?
sure. Do we have any old business?
No, I don't.
Nothing. So we need Donna.
She's busy.
You and me are just old, that's all there is.
I know I am. I sure would like to get older.
Amen to that.
The alternative ain't all that great.
No.
It's like Mom says, I haven't had so much fun I can't leave.
I think my favorite saying of all was, if I'd have known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself.
Yeah.
I don't know whoever started that, but he was sure correct.
There was a comedian out there that said they went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, well, if you give up donuts, you'd live 10 more years. And he was like, that's 10 more years without donuts.
Morning, Dawn.
How are you guys?
Good, and you?
Good. My one little note.
That's good to see.
It may be.
Are you conserving paper?
Yes, this is. Okay, so Melva has been doing an awesome job on getting titles caught up. However, she is finding that there's a lot of missing signatures, which is becoming difficult to try and complete because she has to track down all these people to get their signatures. So she's mailing a lot of papers out to people. So hopefully they return them, but we can't approve the title until we get the signature approved. So while everything is complete, we're waiting for the customer taxpayer to now return their signature so that we can finally push it through. So her numbers don't look as great as they could be because of that, but hopefully as the mail goes out and comes back in, we can get those finished and completed. So I think she said yesterday she had like 12 titles left for 2020.
That's good.
And-
What happens if they don't return them?
They don't get their title.
Okay.
So eventually, push comes to shove, they will get us their signature because they will want their title, and they'll come in asking questions, or they'll call and we can say, well, we mailed you something to sign. If you've lost it, please come in, sign it, and then we can approve it immediately. So she's notated all the ones that we just need signatures on. So if they happen to come in when she's not here, Wednesday or Thursday or whatever, the office can handle it. She's done all of the checking and all of the correcting. So if it is just a signature, we can do it right then and get it approved and get it off of the list.
Cool.
So there's 429 outstanding for 2021. And every day that number grows because people will come in and buy new vehicles. So, but that's where we're at as of yesterday. So I can't remember if it was 12 or 15 for 2020, and then the 429 for 2021. So we were at like 800. So it's considerable improvement.
Yep.
The other thing that she is finding is that there are quite a few mistakes. And after 90 days, you can't just fix them. You have to completely redo. In that 90-day window, you can adjust and fix, and after that, you have to completely cancel, redo, and it has created a lot of calls to the state to have the state go back and clear things out and get things back to the beginning for her so that she can then redo the transaction. So there's going to be some training processes that I'm going to have to go through with the girls because there just wasn't training. So it's brought up some points that need to be addressed, which I guess, call me foolish to think that I wasn't going to have to deal with it, but it's here, so we're dealing with it. So that has created some new process for far as once people come in, I'm now having, if they're bringing in title work, I have to check over the transaction before they leave for all new titles so that I can make sure that all the new titles are, so we're not creating, because these 429 that are sitting here for 2021, half of them are already past that 90-day point, and she hasn't even looked at them yet. So I'm hoping, she's trying to tackle, like, does she do present day stuff to try and get within this 90 days so she can just so it's been fun trying to tackle that portion of it. On the treasurer side of things, the accounting side of things, daily processing, I stopped at August 31st of 2020 for daily processing because I wanted to catch all the bank accounts up and catch the checkbook up. So everything, all the bank accounts have been reconciled and match, except for one bank account. I'm in May. So hopefully today or tomorrow I'll get through August, and then everything will be current to August 31st as far as the bank accounts, all the money market accounts, the checkbook, all the daily processing. So then I can do September daily processing and then catch the banks up to September, and then I'll do October, and then I'll catch the banks up to October. Because I was finding that there was a lot of banking things that were hitting the bank statements that weren't hitting the daily statement. So it was, things weren't jiving. So now things are jiving. I'm finding them and getting them corrected. But it's been a bit of a challenge to say the least, because the one bank account that I am in May right now, it's the treasurer's bank account. So that's where all of the state wire transfers come in, sales tax, all that. That's where all of the motor vehicle gets paid out of. That's where refunds get paid out of. That's where the treasurer's office will write checks out of. And March and April and May is also when COVID hit. So there was not a lot of checking of bank accounts and checking of things. And so there's a lot of things got deposited, and that's where online taxes come in. So online taxes came in March and April and May, and they are not applied until June and July. So I'm having to carry those, and it's created a logistical nightmare for me currently. I'm not very happy currently. So hopefully, since I'm in May, by the time we get to July and August, we'll have worked through all of that, and it'll be a little bit smoother because we won't have so many incoming wires and incoming payments, because with May taxes and with COVID, and it was a bad time of year. So that's where that's at. I did order 2 new computers, one for Amy, one for Michelle. I think the 3rd computer will be okay for Melva for now. I'm going to use my tech fund money, which is unbudgeted. It's just there for me to do these things with. So it's not going to come out of my budget. It's not going to. They should hopefully be here in August. We'll see. Because those 2 computers are, I was fortunate enough to sit at Michelle's computer and do some customer work one day because she was sick, and that computer, it took forever. A transaction that should have taken 5 minutes took 15 minutes, and it was just because the computer is not processing. It's just slow, it's old. So I'm hoping with new computers that will speed up that portion of it. Michelle needs to go to a training in Topeka. It's a 1-day training, but of course it starts at 8:30 in the morning, so she's going to have to go the night before. Training is from 8:30 to 3:30 or 8:30 to 4:30 or something on a Tuesday, so she'll go Monday. Stay all day Tuesday, hopefully come home Tuesday night. And that's July 12th or 13th, whatever that Tuesday is. And that's for fraudulent documents, so they go over all of the fraudulent documents for driver's license and for motor vehicle, different titles and all the security features that title papers should have, so you can check to make sure that you actually have a real title. And I think that's it for training. Most of the other training they are offering is online training, so there shouldn't be a travel expense. But this one with the fraudulent documents, you actually have to be there. They have fraudulent documents to go over, and they have all the lights and the things that you use to scan the documents to prove that they are fraudulent. So that's that. I got all of my usernames and passwords and credentials back. I got my fingerprints set in, so I should be fully up and running. I think I have all of the systems. I've called several people at the state to make sure that I have all of the usernames and passwords and stuff that I think I need and what they think I need. So I think we have that all handled. They've got the movers system updated, removing Dolores' name and adding my name. So all of the receipts print with my name, and the sales tax receipt prints with my name and all of that. So I think we're good there. But do you guys have any questions for me?
Is our budget gonna be okay?
That I can't answer that one yet. I don't have a full,
I mean, for your office mainly.
as far as moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, are we gonna be looking at spending quite a little money, and do we need to raise the budget a little more?
I don't
Yeah,
think
maybe.
so.
Any idea?
I don't think so. I think we'll be okay with what I came to you guys with a week or so, or 2 weeks ago, whatever that was.
Right.
I think we'll be okay. The computers coming out of my tech fund instead of coming out of my budget is a big help. And having that tech fund there, if a printer goes down, I can use that tech fund to replenish that printer.
I just didn't know how long you'll need Melva. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's one, but I mean, she's just working so many days a week. That's
Right, right. I mean, in the end, it does.
I mean, part-time help, how many hours can she work? 900?
19 a week.
Yeah, 19 a week. So,
So she's all right.
999 for the whole year.
yeah,
So she's all right on that end of it.
yeah. And she's aware of that.
Well, I just don't want to, we still need her and we
Yes.
can't use her.
Yeah, yeah. She's aware of that. So she.
You just have to pay her capers.
Oh, okay.
Beyond that, unless you know. Yeah,
Okay.
we can. It's possible.
There's a way to work around it.
Right. So with just the 2 days a week, if she works the 8 hours at 16, so that still gives us a little bit of leeway if she stays late one day or takes a shorter lunch. And she has been. She's usually stays until I leave, which is 5:30 or 6, because she can. She's not dealing with customers, so she can stay after hours and get things. She doesn't. But when I leave, she leaves. So. We're still not taking work home. We're still not working on weekends. I mean, I'm working on weekends, but they're not working on weekends. And we're still catching up. And we're still making significant progress on the backlog. So I don't foresee overtime. I don't foresee any of those things that would affect the budget. And hopefully as soon as Melva gets done with these titles, if I can still use her in some other capacities to catch some other things up, I hopefully can. Hopefully she'll be willing to stay on a little bit longer. But yeah, Melva's about the only thing that I think wasn't budgeted and is going to hit the budget.
Right.
So the rest, but I think cutting down the overtime will help. I'm not there. There's been no overtime since I came on, so. And I want to keep it that way.
As far as training, how are you doing? You're pretty up and up? You need any-
Yep. I'm feeling comfortable with the motor vehicle side of it. Driver's license, I'm not comfortable with that, and I'm glad that we have stopped that process for now. So I need to get in contact with the state to get the driver's license training for myself. I don't have to take it, but it's something that I want to take because I don't feel comfortable doing it, and I also don't feel comfortable where the girls stand on their, they've completed it, but it's a big process. There's a lot of ins and outs, and there's a lot of details.
I can imagine, yeah. And somebody will have to do it if
Right.
something happens.
Right. So that's the one thing that I'm still kind of not 100% comfortable with. The rest of it is coming back. It's been interesting to try and get them to ask questions, Michelle and Amy to ask questions, because I don't think that they realize that they can ask me questions. So that's been kind of a little bit of a hiccup. That I do know how the system works and how.
Yeah, I know, because from my experience, the more your help knows, the better off you are.
Yeah. And I listen while I'm working on the checkbook and working on the bank statements. I'm listening to what's going on at the front counter, and so if I hear something that isn't
Quite right, yeah.
quite right, I chime in and try and get it fixed to not, create a bigger problem down the road. So, and that helps just being here. I mean, just being in the office.
Yeah.
And being around the customers and the customer traffic and being available for Amy and Michelle to ask questions. So yeah.
Good.
So yes, I'm pleased with the progress. I'm not pleased with the current checkbook, but but the rest of it is good. So we'll keep moving forward.
I, for one, pleased with the process too. Yes.
I think
Progress.
the taxpayers are understanding too. I've had a lot of good comments just at the grocery store, people stopping me and stuff like that. So hopefully that continues. Hopefully we'll start getting some signatures in. Hopefully, all those hopeful things.
I've stopped getting grumbling calls since you've taken over. That's good.
Well, and just, I've been there to answer the phones, and I've been there to
Exactly.
answer questions, a little bit more accessible and answering emails and stuff like that. So hopefully that will continue to help the grumpiness and it's just inevitable. It's frustrating. And when you can't get an answer, you get even more frustrated. So that the last 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks I was here, not a lot of people called me, and I was getting a lot of back work done. And then now more and more people are calling, so I'm dealing with more and more current day stuff. So the backlog has not progressed the way I've wanted it to, but that's also why I've been working a few hours on the weekends when there aren't phone calls to try and get that back stuff caught up and still keep current on the current stuff and be able to answer questions.
I think you probably understand now, and we all do, that Dolores is just overwhelmed. Just overwhelmed, and she just
I've had my own moments of just looking at everything and
you get in so far.
there's
Well,
You just
She'll get into something and think she's doing fine, and then she finds something that she has to go back and start
Yeah.
over, completely
Yeah.
over.
so yeah,
I hope she's feeling better.
I hope she's having the time of her life.
Yeah,
I hope
right.
she is just
I just think
relieved and off
gotta
and
be relieved.
having fun. I really do. And while this is overwhelming, it's not the end of the world. Like, when I have a moment of overwhelmed, I just grab my stack of papers and just get through it. And sometimes I grab a different stack of papers because that one has made me upset and move on to the next thing. And so there is light at the end of the tunnel. I feel comfortable that we can get through this, the backlog. I'm really hoping by the end of August to have 2020 processed, reconciled, and moving on to January of 2021 and getting that caught up. That should go quicker. Right now I do have Amy and Michelle working on some 2021 stuff, trying to get that ready for me to when I get to that point, and getting that caught up. We did get Fish and Game caught up. That was another big thing. They are current, Fish and Game. So that was in 2020. The checks were being written weekly, monthly, not necessarily weekly. They should have been weekly. Some of them were weekly, some of them were monthly. But the transfers weren't done for 2020. And no checks and no transfers were done for 2021. So I got the transfers done for 2020. I got the checks caught up for 2021. I got the transfers done for 2021. So we are current to date for Fish and Game.
Great.
So that was a big 2-day hurdle that Sharissa and I accomplished together to get that caught up and balanced. So, if there's anything else?
I don't have any other questions.
Okay.
No, thank you
Cool.
for the update.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Elmer, we're right on time.
We're there in time. I think I'm on 15 minutes, I think.
What's that?
Said you're 15 ahead.
Oh, that's right. I was looking up.
I have a lot of questions, I guess a lot of things that I wonder about, and I don't know, is there a better place to do, better way to do it? I keep coming here, and of course I don't hear very well, so I miss most of what's going on, and I understand it can be on internet, but I don't, a lot of us older people don't understand all that. Something I wonder about, and I got a newspaper, whether they could begin to carry some of this information so that the public, us older people especially, can understand what's going on. Is that possible? I don't know. I want to talk to Haynes. I don't know what can be done about that.
Do what now?
I'm sorry?
Do what now?
He's wanting
The
more of it
newspaper
with the
carries
paper.
some of the information. I know
We
people.
need to have somebody here at the meetings.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I keep wondering about that and whether,
Elmer, are you talking about the meetings or processes?
well, both, what goes on here at these meetings. I miss a lot of that come here, but I don't, if I went online, would I hear it any better? I don't know. But does this pick this stuff up and put it on? Can you hear it online? I've had people tell me
You can hear some of it, I know, but,
it's
you know, the sad part is the newspaper's going by the wayside anymore. It doesn't carry much other than,
They just watch the video, do their stories.
It'd be interesting to know what percent of the people are. I've been told 30% of the people in Cheyenne County only get the newspaper, and then only 30% of them read it. And so it's real challenging to get information out. So I don't,
Right.
when I come here, like I'm coming today, should I come here, should I talk to Brett? Is he my line of information, or should I come here, talk to you guys, or what procedure is, what's the proper procedure to find out what's going on and to share ideas with you?
Well, they used to put everything in the paper every year, and maybe you just need to go down there and tell them that you'd like to have somebody here. I mean,
I know Karen was running it while she was here practically all the time.
She was here.
I don't know, I'm just concerned about I'm ignorant about most of what's going on, and part of it's my fault, but part of it I think we have to do everything we can to get information out to people so they do at least have the opportunity. A lot of our older people don't even have computers or don't know how to use them, and so we got the whole different elements of
And
people.
that's where we run into it. We put it out on YouTube for people that can do that. The papers for some people, but there's still that group in between that doesn't take the paper and doesn't have internet or a computer. I mean, it's
Next
It's more
question.
of an individual responsibility
Yeah.
in regards to getting the information, because, you know, as Scott said, it's out on YouTube. The paper does what they do, and so if someone is wanting more information, then they need to, basically figure it out for themselves, figure out how to use YouTube, come in, ask questions of the clerk or myself in regards to what's going on. And because the paper is a private company, and they can choose what they do and do not publish. And the commissioners have no control over that.
Right. I need announcements. I called the Attorney General or Secretary of State. They don't even have to put it. Now, they are putting in the paper. Your meetings are always in the paper. City council is always in the paper. But they've started, you notice that they've started putting that in.
and there again, they're all welcome to come here to the meeting also.
Right, that's another challenge. We're lazy, I guess. We don't always do what we ought to do. So, anyway,
But pretty well the minutes are on file.
fine. We can come here at the office and get them and read them here. We can come in and
Yes.
come in and read them here on this. So
And everything that we do is in the minutes.
You're right, that's it. How much information did you get? I came in and signed up to come in here. How much information did you get prior to the meeting about what I came about?
I don't know.
Just what you wrote on your paper.
Okay, do you guys see that?
It's emailed.
What's
Oh,
that?
these two.
Yeah.
He didn't have email, so.
Okay, I'm just curious. I have to fill out a whole document. And I'm using a whole
Scott
bunch,
sends it to
I'm
us.
using a whole bunch of words you guys, that some people don't understand, I guess. Anyway, the one topic I came in, they were talking about is tax deceleration. Our property tax, from what I can read and understand, it's gone up about 3 times since 1997. Is that right? Property tax in Cheyenne County, a lot of Kansas. And I keep wondering, how can we slow this thing down? Where the people, I had a real estate person in the community told me that the 2 reasons people don't come to St. Francis, and of course we got our houses, we don't worry about it, but in St. Francis is high property tax and potholes in the streets. Have you heard that? I've heard that. I've had that told to me. And so I don't know, you guys can't do anything about the potholes, but maybe we can talk about property tax. I'd like to give you, the first thing I'll give you is the Lions Club. We've been here 70 years, and to my knowledge, we've never come to you guys and asked for 1 penny of property tax or assistance to anything, any of our programs. We've done all that. You can read that, you can see what all we've done the last 70 years. And so I keep wondering if there's organizations that are coming here and getting property tax money that could maybe be getting it somewhere else or paying part of the way and finding ways to raise their money rather than coming to you guys. That's the easy way to get money, is to come here and get you guys to use tax money to pay for whatever projects they're doing, right? My misunderstandings and stuff. I'll give you 2 examples. The museum, I'm a member of these things. I work with them, years ago. I don't think they came. If you go back and check the archives, you won't find any money going to museum. I think it financed
Yeah,
itself.
there is.
Has it always been? Always
I don't
been?
know always, but I think
They have for the last 10, 15 years probably, but they had memberships. For today, membership at the museum, I'm a member and I have to go up and pay my dues. They won't send me a bill, they don't contact me, I have to go up on my own and pay it. We had lots of members. We had, I think, over 100 members, or I don't know how many. I was on the membership team. I contacted people and encouraged them to pay their membership. Today, they come here, I don't know how much money they're getting in the budget. We need to go through the budget and study that budget. But that's one. The senior citizen, same thing. I guess I'm a little concerned about it. I pay taxes, federal taxes. It comes down for the $3.75 a meal they get. So we're subsidizing the food that is going there. And then I think, was that right, Scott? The senior program, in my mind, it was $10,000 a few years ago. Went part of it to our senior
St.
citizens.
Francis is 8, Bird City is 3,400.
And then so I keep wondering if they used to have fundraisers themselves. They've quit doing it now to help pay part of it.
Elmer, I'm going to interrupt you.
Sure.
Scott, I think that, first off, can you explain where the money for the budget, how that is assessed? I mean, because the tax rates are set by the state, correct?
Yeah. I mean, let me go through this. The appraiser does the appraised value on properties in the county. And they certify that to me. The new budget process now, we're going off of last year's tax dollars, this year's mills divided by, which I do in the July abstract, by last year's tax dollars times 1,000. That gives us our written revenue neutral rate for this year. This is a new process, but yeah, I mean, everything like that is set by the state. I mean, even the appraiser, there's everything she does is approved by the state. I don't know, am I explaining this right? Or
I mean, what I'm trying to get at is, when it comes to the amount of monies that are available each year for budget, that is determined by the state in
Yes.
regards to how the assessor appraises property and the tax rates. That's all set by the state. And then the state comes in and says, okay, based on all your information, after everything is certified, here's the money that you have for your budget. All right? Now, are you talking about trying to lower that, the amount that is available for the budget? Or are you asking the commissioners to cut the budget for all of these organizations?
Well, I'm just asking to think about it. I'm here, just a call we were having, and how can we slow this thing down or encourage other groups that are taking money out of the county budget, all out of our money, to pick it up some other way?
I think it has to start with the state. Because the state is the one that sets the appraisal values, the tax rates, etc. That is, that governs all of the state of Kansas.
Well, I don't know, I think about it, I don't know how they.
because all those groups that you were talking about, 13, 15, for 2020, there was $150,000 went to all those groups.
Yeah, right, and that's what I'm wondering.
And I mean, that's a
No,
lot.
we come, Lions Club, and say, well, we want to
Yeah.
do this project, and we want you guys to pay some money into this. I guess I struggle with all that part of volunteerism is what made our country great. We want to go into a welfare state where the government pays for everything. So what I'm talking about, I'm trying to
Yeah.
get you guys to think, how do we do this better? And is it better to have the state? Maybe it's better to have a welfare state, and we pay
Because,
lots of taxes.
I mean, I must clarify myself. It's different when it comes to actual mills. Mills are voted on, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of a different animal in regards to mill levies. But, like in regards to valuations and tax rates, that's all set by the state from my
Well,
understanding.
and they're going up. Houses are going up because people have come in from out of state and paid over asking.
Right.
So
they got money.
our houses are going up.
Right
You're
now.
paying more taxes now.
Right.
And as far as other groups, I think you'd have to go to them to try to slow them down as to
Yeah, but of
coming
course,
and asking for
don't you
money.
guys have to say, whether they come in and ask for this much money, and you say, we're not gonna give you this much, we'll give you half of that, and you figure out how to raise the other half. I don't know, I'm just trying to figure
Yeah.
this, how does this system work, where we, the John Q. public, can understand it, and how do we help our people to understand?
Yeah, so it's-
It's nice to go get, if I can come here and get free money, get tax money without having to work for it, why not do it? I mean, that's a welfare state we live in now. And maybe I'm all wrong.
And I
I'm
want to
just-
take
I'm
it
trying-
back because there was some airport and museum money in that. It's less than 150,000.
But it just is part of the idea. Our taxes keep going up and going. I don't know what, I pay my taxes, not hurting me too bad, but I'm sure there's a lot of people in this community that taxes get to be quite an item for them,
Yeah.
and so it's a challenge. And I'm just what to think about. I'm trying to get you guys to think, how can we do this better and maybe encourage people to raise their own money instead of depending on it, for you guys to hand out the money through this. But maybe I'm missing the whole thing. And then the budget hearings, if I come to it, I assume you have open hearings on the budget, is that right? And are they open to the public? Is the public going to find out about it? Do I need to find out and inform the public?
They're-
How does this process
By
work?
law, we have to post it in the newspaper, and we do every year.
Okay. And what is that? You come in here and you guys you go through the budget. Imagine there's hundreds and thousands of items in here. How do I as a citizen understand at least a little bit of it so I understand where the money's going?
They can't come in when we're having the hearing,
Oh,
can they?
Yeah.
They can?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
open. It's
So
It's
gotta
gonna
be
be-
open.
It'll be in this room?
Yes.
It'll be during the day or evening, or when is it?
During the day.
During the day.
It's usually at a regular meeting. This year's could be different. If we go over our revenue neutral rate, we'll have to do it's going to be a little bit different, but it'll still be in the newspaper.
I just wondered, I don't know how this, I know that people come here, the first time they come here to ask for assistance or whatever it is, does that automatically go on every year? Do they come back every year to you guys and say, hey,
Some do. and
We
some
want-
don't, yeah.
But you consider that, or does that just
Yeah, all of them
automatically?
come back.
Once you're in, you got automatically in, is that the way that works?
All of them, you're talking about like options was here last time, you know, the mental retardation, you know,
Oh, yeah, and
all those come
Mental
in,
health out of.
in April, May.
I hear 'em.
June's getting a little late
Sure.
anymore, but they come in and ask for continued support.
Right,
Now,
and do we evaluate, I guess,
4 years I've been here, we haven't ever raised anything. So-
I guess I struggle with those too, they come in and I'm all in favor of all these things, we need mental health, we need these organizations, and I don't know how much good they do, I don't know how we evaluate. I watch in the community and I try to say, are we really helping people, or, I don't know, how do we find out? I struggle with that.
It doesn't appear that we're helping them, but we definitely are.
Right,
Because, you know, I mean.
it's hard to
It
tell.
just happens that,
It's very difficult to decide sometimes.
especially with more people that
So-
are needing now.
Right. Okay, well, I'm going to challenge you, volunteer, you're invited to come to our Lions meeting. Oh, we've got a new location, are you aware of that yet? I call it the LVCC, Lions VFW Community Center. It's down at 221, or 120, 122
Washington.
West. It's down there, the old dance ranch place. And we meet the third Monday night of the month, and we're invited to try and encourage you guys to be part of it. I think I challenge you to lead the way in volunteerism in our community. That's what, to me, what makes our country great is a lot of volunteer stuff that people do to make things better. I know you do a lot in Bird City. I was reading your newsletter. You do a lot of work in Bird City. So challenge all of you to join with us. Any questions you have for me?
I don't have any questions.
I don't at this time.
I just would like to say that most of those organizations, the dollars that they get, and I know it'll lower your taxes a little bit, but it isn't gonna lower them very much.
Not
We
even-
don't
Not
give-
even a mill.
We don't even give very little to the senior citizens. The city does most of that. And you got the fair board, a lot of people like the fair, that's where money
Sure.
goes. A lot of people like the museum, so some money goes there, but I don't know how much that is, it's not very much.
I just, the thought I had was that.
I don't think we can cut those budgets and make any difference in your
Wouldn't
taxes.
make a lot of difference.
No,
What
none at
is-
all.
Yeah.
Museum is $4,780.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is, I want to lower taxes too, but that's not what's raising your taxes. What's raising your taxes is, we build a assisted living, we build a swimming pool.
Those are the big issues.
Those are the big items. We took on the rest home, which we did not, and now we're putting a lot of money into that rest home.
Right, yeah.
Things like that are just, road and bridge, that's a $1.5 million budget. And we spent $280,000 on one bridge this year. That's where our money goes. That's where our money goes. It's not those little items, as far as I'm concerned. It's important, I understand what you're saying, but I think we could cut all of that out and it wouldn't lower your
Make money,
taxes.
sure. I think to me it's the idea, but.
It's the idea you're saying.
You're right, the idea we try to do things and not, we try to push our own way rather than try to get it subsidized by somebody else, you know.
The more,
That's
money, the more money we spend locally, though, helps a little bit too because of the sales tax revenue too. So
Now, that's another whole can of worms.
Yeah.
People are constantly going to, here, I'm going to go to Goodland, go to Walmart.
Yep.
I try to, every penny we spend here comes back to our schools and our community, and every penny we spend over there goes to somebody else's community, which is all right, but I think again,
Well,
Need
stuff
to-
like that, we really don't have any control of it.
no.
That,
And
anyway,
again, that's
but-
another whole can of worms. We
Like
need to
another
help our
good
people
idea.
to understand
Yeah.
that when they spend all that money over at Walmart and that money doesn't help our community and our schools, and so, anyway, well, thank you.
Yep, thanks, Elmer. Fill my coffee up.
Is Dan here yet?
Dan's not, but Dave is. He'll be here in just a second.
Okay.
One concern.
These sweater called, we're gonna look at this road down there, it is washed out, there by Bartlett's. Somebody say something to.
What happened?
That's Rodney Swaggart's by his house, and
Problems with that?
yeah, I know. So,
Dave tried to get him way out of that, he wouldn't do it.
I did.
Yeah,
Oh, Dan?
there was a proposal made.
If you want to come on up, we'll just go ahead and get you.
How are you?
Good, how are you guys?
Good.
Okay, so we have 2 members we wanna put on.
Yep.
And these are in the St. Francis one?
Oh, no.
They just have to live in the county, or do they have to live within a certain time frame of the fire department?
One time it was within reasonable time limits, is what the city has down.
I guess it's kind of hard to do that when you ask them to volunteer.
Yeah, yeah,
It's pretty much in town or close.
close to town is what we try. I mean, I know one of these is pretty far out, but not any farther than some of the other guys that are out there all day, so,
And who knows, it could be down there.
yeah,
He'd be a good driver.
yeah. And as you've seen, we voted for Blake, but it wasn't the letter that got him there. That letter created more problems than it did good, so. We're running out of volunteers, so we gotta do what we gotta do. I'm just putting that on the record, because I don't want everybody writing a letter because they don't get on the fire department thinking they're gonna get on.
Gotcha.
Does this have to be voted on?
Well, I make a motion that we hire on Martin Hill and Blake Crine for the fire department.
Second,
Okay, it's been first and seconded to hire these two on. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Do you want these stuff? I know. I'll have them come in.
Yeah, just have them come in.
Okay. And the only thing I got is gonna let you know that forestry grant I applied for way back when. We ended up getting approved for it, so we'll get part of that helmet reimbursement back.
Good.
That we talked about. And then there was some other tools so we'll We're gonna spend like 1,800 and we'll get 1,800 back total, but most of it's already been spent. There's about 800 of it out that hadn't been spent that I've ordered, so. That's all I've got, unless you guys have questions.
Did you ever get your new jaws, whatever they were you were getting?
Yeah, we got new jaws here,
got them.
and Bird City's got the old ones. So we're still running with Bird City till we make sure we can get enough over there to,
Do they have they had the training for it?
yeah.
Their guys?
We've got them on some anyway. We've cut a couple cars up. Yep, thanks.
Have a good day.
You ready, Dave?
I think so. Good morning.
Morning.
One thing different on this one, Pinco Engineering, this is, they had to do more work to get their permit renewal, so that's what that $500 is on there for. So,
Permit renewal on the bridge,
on the landfill,
on the landfill?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's a solid waste report on this one. So, okay, on this report, you also see when you go down their way, Special Road Improvement Fund, we paid Reese this $189,155.25 to build this bridge, so. And then at the bottom, State of Kansas made their highway distribution plus this equalization tax distribution as well. As far as work done, this is pretty simple. Blade roads, repair and washes, because they had some pretty good rains up there. I call it down Walden's country and also up in that very corner. So we had to do quite a little work up there. And then Reese Construction finished the bridge itself on the 17th of June. And then we started earthwork basically on that, still on it, so.
Kind of an idea when you might be done.
We're going over as far as that goes right now with dirt work, but I think the end of the week we're gonna be real close. We still gotta put the guardrail up. I need to seed it, put all the fence in and everything like that, but I wouldn't be surprised if we'll open it up at the end of the week, so. Or someone, probably pushing my luck. I also wanna put gravel in, incorporate it while we got the road closed, I mean, so. Get it all done, that way we won't have to go back, so. This next is Pinco Engineering. It's a contract. This is to have them do all the preliminary engineering. They're going to do the normal field survey, the topographical survey, the balance grading, the bridge layouts, the right-of-way descriptions, construction cost estimate, the contour maps, the culvert details, the bridge plans, and seeding traffic control. And one other thing, and this is all, I'm calling this Trout Hill Bridge. This is the one south of Dan Bussey.
Okay.
That real tall one there.
Yeah.
So, this contract is for them, and the other thing that's different, The state requires a geological study being done, so Gerald wound up hiring this company, I think out of Wichita, to do this, I think what they basically do is go down, they do test cores, so they go in and drill to see how far they're gonna have dry piling and everything like that, so it's a soil study thing, so. But anyway, he's already signed on some of that, and that's $4,300 just to do that study there, but the state requires us to do it, so.
It's probably a good thing, right? I mean,
It's a safety procedure that way, when the bridge we just did up there, we never know how deep they're gonna be driving piling or anything like that. So it's kind of an estimate. We knew it had to be fairly shallow because of the springs and everything like that, so. So I think it's a good deal, but this contract is for Penco itself, and this is for $15,000 total. 40% upon completion of preliminary plans, 40% on the final plans, and then 20% at the bid letting. And this is a normal procedure, so.
When does Steve start?
I'm sorry,
When does Steve start?
I think it's July 7th.
These are both the
Has he
same.
met the guys, or?
No. He knew, I think, 2, 3 of them, just from church stuff and whatever, so.
I think those are the same, maybe not.
Yeah. Let's just see.
That's a road what? Which road is that on? The bridge?
The bridge, this would be on Road 31. And like 5 miles south of Highway 36, I think that's the way they're explaining it on there, so. And remember, this is the one where we're also taking out that other bridge, so we get a $50,000 credit for this, and the max they're gonna pay is $200,000, and I'm thinking it's gonna be closer to $270, but we gotta pay 10% on that of the 200, and then anything over